act as the precursor for production of these compounds. Basically, in case of angiosperms, we know that 18 carbon polyunsaturated fatty acids means linoleic acid and alpha linolenic acid. These fatty acids act as the main precursor of these compounds. Now, one thing you have to remember that this oxidation of these fatty acids may be enzymatic or non-enzymatic. But in a case of plants, most of the oxidation occurs by help of the enzyme lipoxygenase. Lipoxygenase enzyme is the main enzyme that mediate the oxidation of this initial oxidation of these fatty acids. Now, you can see there is a polyunsaturated fatty acids. If they are oxygenated by this lipoxygenase enzyme, that will form this hydroperoxy fatty acids. So there is a hydroperoxygenation at the fatty acid chain that can form these hydroperoxy fatty acids. Now, after formation of these hydroperoxy fatty acids, this hydroperoxy fatty acid will act as the precursor for number of enzymes. So this hydroperoxy fatty acid will act as the precursor of a number of enzymes, and there are activities of cytochrome P450 monooxygenase group of enzymes, basically alanine oxide synthase, hydroperoxide lyase, divinyl ether synthase, epoxy alcohol synthase. So these enzymes will act on these hydroperoxy fatty acids. So initial oxidation is occurred by lipoxygenase. After initial oxidation, the hydroperoxy fatty acids will be formed. This hydroperoxy fatty acid will now act as the precursor for the groups of enzymes. Now, if this hydroperoxy fatty acid if divinyl ether synthase, if this is acting on this hydroperoxy fatty acids, that will form divinyl ether. Epoxy alcohol synthase, if they are acting on this hydroperoxy fatty acid, that will form epoxy hydroxy fatty acids. Similarly, if hydroperoxide lyase will act on these fatty acids, that will form different kinds of aldehydes and alcohols. Similarly, alanine oxide synthase, if that is acting on these hydroperoxy fatty acid, that will ultimately form 12-oxophytodienoic acid. So that modified fatty acid I was talking about when I was talking about the esterified oxalipins. So in case of esterified oxalipin, this 12-oxophytodienoic acid will be present attached with the glycerol molecule or the backbone molecule. So this 12-oxophytodienoic acid from this compound, gradually jasmonic acid will be formed. So this is the overall uh, oxalipin metabolism pathway. Now, the main enzyme that you have seen, that is the lipoxygenase. Main enzyme is lipoxygenase. Lipoxygenase act on the polyunsaturated fatty acid, and it will help in initial oxidation process. So this lipoxygenase is the main enzyme in this overall oxygen metabolism. Now, these lipoxygenase are basically are members of genes encoding this enzyme are of multigene families. So you can get a number of isoforms of this lipoxygenase. So number of isoforms means in Arabidopsis thaliana only, you can get